Greetings, everyone. My name is Jayathma Wickramanayake, and I am the United Nations Secretary-General's Envoy on Youth. It is a pleasure to join all of you today and to speak on the importance of young people's political participation. Although more than half of the world's population is under 30, only 2.6% of global members of parliament are under 30. And less than 1% of these young MPs are women. The average age of a world leader today is 62 years. In some countries, the minimum age to run for some political positions in public office is over 40 years old. These numbers speak for themselves. Too often, young people continue to be excluded from participating in formal political processes. This challenging reality is further complicated when we consider the range of cultural, structural, financial, and legislative barriers that prevent young people from exercising their political rights. I recognize the sense of disappointment and even mistrust that some young people feel towards formal institutions and political systems. Many do not feel their actions are recognized or their priorities reflected by our current political leaders. And as a result, they are turning their backs to what has historically been perceived as the establishment. However, youth political apathy is a myth. Young people have very clear political priorities and demands on the issues that affect them and the things that they care about most. They might not always be represented in formal political spaces, but history has shown us that young people have undoubtedly been successful in pushing forward political agendas in their local communities, on the streets, and on social media. In a world that is facing multifaceted crises, young people are on the front lines demanding transformative societal change on the most important issues of our time, from gender equality to reconciliation efforts to climate justice. Young people can no longer be left at the margins of the political spaces where decisions are taken and policies are shaped. Tackling diverse global issues such as climate change, quality education, decent employment, and peace and security needs to be done hand in hand with young people. We must recognize young people's expertise and invaluable contributions in decision-making spaces, seeing them as equal partners, not just beneficiaries. The UN Secretary-General's recent report on Our Common Agenda emphasizes the need for meaningful, diverse, and effective youth engagement and participation in formal politics. With this spirit in mind, my office, in collaboration with The Body Shop, has launched a global Be Seen, Be Heard campaign which aims to amplify the voices of young people and actively promoting young people's participation in political life around the world. Through the campaign, we are calling for a range of policy changes, including lowering the voting age, aligning the eligibility age to run for office with voting age, and increasing youth representation in formal governance structures, such as through Youth Council, among other related actions. As our Global Youth Report on this topic found, more than 2/3 of people think that if younger people had more opportunities to have a say in policy development, our political systems would be better. To young people everywhere, I invite you to continue being civically and politically active, to vote, to run for public offices, as well as to keep engaging in disruptive and innovative manners to hold our institutions accountable. And to governments everywhere, it's time to lead by example in more actively supporting and upholding young people's political rights. As power holders and decision makers, it is our responsibility to transform our systems to be more inclusive, more diverse, and more transparent. At the United Nations, we are committed to continue strengthening the ways we are working with and for youth around the world, as demonstrated through Youth 2030, the UN's strategy on youth. Now more than ever, we need all stakeholders to join efforts in steering our world onto a more peaceful, equitable, and inclusive path. Today's young people recognize this perhaps more than any other generation in history. So let's give them an opportunity to lead. Thank you.